And once again, I have greatly overestimated the amount of time I have in a day. That meme that's been going around that's like, we need a day between Sunday and Monday. Yeah, I would like that day. Thank you. Friends and gamers, you are not allowed to judge me for the state of my reverse 1999 account right now. I haven't logged in days. What is this? International Bank for Reconstruction and Development became operational. Okay, it's not even a fun one today. Yeah, I know it's the Welcome Home Cheater event. Yeah. I can't wait for my schedule to just go back to normal. That's I think the point we're at. Like, I've had a great time, like, with everything we've been doing and covering this month, but I can't wait for things to just go back to normal. So we have a lot of stuff to do. Let me just grab stuff. Let me just grab it. We'll get through this. Claim all. What do we got? Okay, some clear drops. I'll take it. Battle Pass? Battle Pass. Listen, I love the little animation for the tarot card art, but I wish we could, like, click through. Does this make... I need a skip button for the animation. I will say that with my full chest. We're pulling for... I still don't... My brain is still working overtime trying to figure out remember how to say his name, because there was 2 ways I thought it was pronounced, and it was a secret 3rd way. We're pulling today, right? We are going to take a look at second half banners for 2.6. Aleph? I think it's Aleph, because I remember in my brain it was like, it sounds like Olive a little bit. Aleph. We're gonna pull for Aleph, because I think he's neat. Also, I was totally right about him having like 3 different personas, at least, in the trailer thing. They did a really good job of showing that to somebody who has no idea what's going on, which is me, because I'm not caught up in the story. This is what I'm saying when I want my schedule, I desperately want my schedule to go back to normal, because I just want to be able to get caught up in like gacha game stories. That's it. That's all I want to do right now, okay? Where are we at pity-wise? Just so we're all on the same page for today. We don't need to go over a ton of like patch notes stuff. We already did that. When was my last 6? Barcarola was my last 6-star. Like a while ago. So this would be 49. We're at 49 pity. It's not bad. We do need to win a 50-50 though. I think we can make this work. But before we do that, we gotta take a look at Aleph. We have to do his survey. We gotta do all the stuff. So we start here. We start here with kit stuff. This art is insane, by the way. Dear God. A support character, all right. I feel like, how many, I'm like racking my brain. Do I have any good supports? I feel like I have a handful, but we could always do some more. Burst support, all right. So let's take a look at this. Starting with ult. Reflections of Omniscience? Omniscience. Like, that's a literary thing. Yep. Can you tell my brain is like working overtime today? We're like just getting right into it. So getting right into the kit review. This is a self channel. All right. Wait, my brain is truly working overtime because how this is written is like they're addressing the collective Aleph, which makes a lot of more sense when you think about it now. So Aleph memorized the first 2 basic incantations actively casted this round and enter the hyperthymesia status for 1 round. This is a lot of big words. All right, what's memorize? Memorizes the rank, inspiration points, and rewrite effects of incantations. So really, truly just memorizes your stats. And this big word is the channeling thing. So this status channels until the next round, ending right before the AP area resolves. When this channel status ends, the memorized incantations, so again in the memory, are added to the spell queue. So it copies your spells. Does it? And cast it alongside all other incantations from the round. It doubles the cards you play, right? These memorized incantations are considered actively cast, but do not grant any moxie. I don't care, bestie. They're doing damage. So hypothetically, it would be like burst damage, but not Aleph's burst to damage. It's all your other characters' burst damage, technically. So you'd want to put like all your damage cards, all your attack cards down, and then hit this ult. Would that go a little bit insane? First 2 basic incantations actively casted this round, so not all of them. And also you wouldn't want to do that with ults. So it'd be, if you have 4 slots, you'd put 2 basic attack cards, like heavy hitters. Even like, would a 3-star incantation count for that? Because that would, again, heavy hitters. Save them up, run them at the beginning of the queue. Then you could do like a heal and then this or something, like this and then a heal, something like that. This could be in the 3rd or the 4th slot. So also if you're running, like it's set up so if you only have the basic 3 slots to run something with, you can do 2 attack cards and then this. Or you could do like a support that buffs the attack, like really buffs it. So it's like insane. I feel like that would work. And then it would run that twice, but it would also give you more buffs. So you see that, always thinking. I don't know if that would work like that though. I feel like that's something we might have to try, but I'm gonna forget to try when we get to the survey stage. So afterward, grant attack instances +2 to the impromptu incantation for the round, which I can't click on. And all non-final attack instances of impromptu incantation this round inflict the interpretation status on the attack target. what is it? Non-final attack instances. Okay. What is a non-final attack? Anyways, with the final attack instance also dealing, oh, so like you have 2 cards that repeat themselves. 1, 2, and then it circles back with 3. Those are the non-final. And then that 4th one, which is technically 2, but repeated, is the final. Always thinking. But the final attack instance also deals an additional of which is the target's stacks of interpretation times 80%. So 80% of that? Don't make me do math. Thank you. But that is dealt as mental damage to each enemy target holding the interpretation status. How do we get interpretation? I'm assuming it's this buff card over here. Aleph cannot attack while channeling, and all stacks of interpretation are removed from enemies after the final attack instance of impromptu incantation. Kinda nutty, and you can't click on it because it tells you what it tells you here. All right, so what is impromptu incantation? This is what is it? Oh, single target, okay. This deals 200% mental damage to a random enemy, and this attack deals an additional X% mental damage, where X is equal to the total points of inspiration granted to impromptu incantation times 15. All right, okay, I'm not following. Too much math. I thought this was the English language patch. I thought we were in English class. This is a math class. I'm kidding, but I'm also not. So if impromptu incantation has at least 3, 6, 12, or 20 points of inspiration, impromptu incantation gains attack instances plus 1, 2, 3, and 5 respectively. So if you only have 19, you get the buff for 12. Does this make sense? Impromptu incantation's damage calculation is based on the average stats of all allies. You think I'm doing average stats? I'm calculating that in my brain? No. I feel like I have more questions after reading what impromptu incantation is. I'm gonna be so real. Like, literally, I thought we were in English class. Where did the math come from? I knocked over a nail polish bottle on my desk. I was gonna do my nails earlier and then didn't. Okay, I'm like reading this like, what the heck are we doing? I thought this was English class. Anyways, interpretation then is a negative status effect. Mental defense is minus 10%. Damage taken reduction is minus 10%. I'm assuming this goes to your opponent. Each stack beyond the first inflicts mental defense minus 2% and damage taken reduction minus 2%, so it stacks. Obviously, I think they talk about it stacking in here. This lasts for 3 rounds, stacks up to 8 times, and each stack is timed independently. So listen, earlier I tried to compute the each stack being timed independently thing for Skirk's kit in Genshin, and that one was easy. This isn't. I don't want to call this a rocket science kit, which is what I call a kit when there's just a lot of words and a lot of things happening and I have no idea what's going on, but this might actually be rocket science. Like, there's a lot of numbers going around here. Now that we know what impromptu incantation and interpretation are, I'm gonna look at this again. Yeah, no, I don't. There's a lot of stuff and it's probably all passive. So you really don't need to follow any of this at all. He's just gonna do it. So like, it's not that serious. Reverse, they like to make it that serious. And I'm not mad about it, but I am confused. All right, let's look at this attack incantation. Yeah, okay. So this is disciplinary power. First off, at 1 incantation level, this is a single target attack. Deals 100% mental damage, gains continuous action phase 1 for 1 round, and then after the attack, consumes 2 Eureka and grants attack instance plus 1 to impromptu incantation for the round. Again, with that goddamn impromptu incantation. Continuous action, though, is just, it gives you another action point. I'm assuming that's what AP stands for. Fake fan, I know. But let's see how this buffs out. Yeah, no. If you're using him to deal damage, you will want to stack this, but if you're using him as a support, do not worry about stacking this. At incantation level 2, still a single target attack, but instead of 100% mental damage, it's 200%. But the continuous action and impromptu incantation stuff stays exactly the same. So if you're running him to do some damage, stack this. If not, really does not matter if you stack these cards. You can run it in incantation level 1 if you're just trying to get the Eureka and the impromptu incantation points, and you'll get the same for every level of that this is at. Some extra damage might be nice, but if you don't care about the damage he's doing, don't care about the damage he's doing. Also, don't include this in the omniscience stacks, like when you're the duplicated cards, don't include this one because this like doesn't do anything. At incantation level 3, you do get 400% mental damage, but still, like, it does not matter. Continuous action stays at level 1 for the entire thing too. Like, don't worry about stacking that. If it stacks, more power to you, but like, if you're not running him as a DPS, don't stack it. Do not put your energy into stacking that. His buff incantation then is Idealist Declaration. Art, you know, that looks like the Idealist Declaration, I will say that. This is a mass buff. It's a buff card. What do we expect? This grants 1 stack of Clarification to all allies for 3 rounds, consumes 2 Eureka, and grants an additional 1 stack of Clarification to all allies for 3 rounds. Okay, so I need clarification on this, because grants a stack of Clarification for 3 rounds. Then it also consumes 2 Eureka, and at the end of the round, I guess grants another, see, I need clarification. What is clarification? This is a positive status effect of incantation might plus 10%, stacks up to 4 times, with stacks being timed independently. So yeah, this one's a bit weird just because it's like 2 different things going on. It probably makes a lot of sense once you see it in practice, like in the game. So that is incantation 1. At incantation 2, it grants 2 stacks of clarification to all allies for 3 rounds. Think, yeah, and then in incantation 3, it's 3 stacks. If you were going to stack any of Aleph's incantations, it would be Idealist Declaration, because that stacking goes up with each one. It's not a huge increase. That might go up with some of his portraits, but this is the one you'd want to stack. The attack doesn't need to be stacked at all, quite frankly. Like, don't stack this, because Aleph's not a DPS. He's a support character. He does burst damage, and that's just because it's not even his burst damage, right? So like, don't stack his attack card. Seriously, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your slots. If it stacks, that's great, but you don't need to. The only instance I would see you needing to like get incantations levels on this is if everyone else on your team has died and the only other person, you have like a healer and Aleph, and then he's the only one who can deal any sort of damage and you're just fighting for your life. That's the only instance I see that happening. Inheritance though. So this is insight level passive. It's passive. Know it all, answer it all. This is his passive stuff, and it's not that long, which is nice. We've had some really long ones in the past. At insight level 1, you get a +2 on Eureka, and whenever an ally consumes Eureka, you accumulate points of inspiration. That was the thing before in his ult, blah, blah, blah. At the start of each round, you gain Eureka +4, which is kind of every round. Whenever an ally in the clarification status actively casts and attacks with an incantation, clarification being what you get in the buff state. Is it? It's not. I don't think that's related to his ult. But yeah, clarification. Aleph consumes 1 Eureka to make 1 attack instance of impromptu incantation this round, inflict the interpretation status on the target hit. So that impromptu incantation, I don't think that's what doubles. Yeah, memorize in hyperthymesia. I don't know how to say it. I've seen this word before. I do not know how to say it. I'll be so honest. I'm not gonna pretend I know how to say it either, but that's what gets the cards doubling, so this isn't that. But yeah, insight 1, yeah. Inflict interpretation on the target hit, yeah. I still barely know how his kit works. It's gonna make so much sense when we actually get to do the survey. It's gonna make so much sense in a hot minute. Okay, at insight 2, damage dealt goes up by 8% when the caster enters battle. And then at insight 3, each time after this unit consumes Eureka, there's a 25% chance to recover 1 Eureka. I wonder if that will go up, that 25% will go up in his portraits. Speaking of portraits, we're gonna do that right now. There's a car alarm going off outside. I really hope it's not mine. All right, we have some really long ones here. There's 2 car alarms going off outside now. Should I be concerned? Oh, they went off, okay. I was like, is somebody trying to break into cars? Oh my God. I got comfy. Don't make me go outside. Okay, portrait time. This is the pay to play section of the video. I've said it before. If you've been saving, if you are a low spender, it's pretty easy to get 1 copy of a character. I'm not saying it's like the easiest thing in the world, but it's like doable. It's manageable. It's manageable entirely for free, actually, to get 1 copy of a character, especially if you've been saving. As you get more copies of the character, you do get buffs for that character, but it's at a price usually. It's very rare to not have to spend a single penny to get portraits on a character. So spend responsibly. It's rough out there. I'm now going to go over the portraits for Aleph and say if I think they're worth it or not. And basically it's like a poll plan, depending on how much you're willing to spend and what your use case for Aleph is. Spend responsibly. Let's get into it. So everything we just went over is at P0. That's a singular copy of Aleph. From here, the dollar signs do go up. So at P1 or 2 copies of Aleph, that is a buff for disciplinary power, which is the attack incantation. So probably not that necessary. But with this one, the duration of continuous action is increased to 2 rounds from 1. The chance to recover Eureka is also increased to 50%. So with this, okay. What is the general chance then to recover Eureka? Because it doesn't say that anywhere. Yeah, like, because instead of getting 1 action point, is it? Okay, gains continuous action for 1 round, so now it's 2, so you get 2 action points. After the attack consumes 2 Eureka and gains attack instance +1 to impromptu incantation for the round. The chance to recover Eureka is increased to 50%. This is not in relation to disciplinary power. I think almost, is it in relation to know-it-all? Because with this one, it says there's a 25% chance to recover 1 Eureka with his insight 3. So I'm assuming that's what it is in relation to, but they didn't say that because his portrait doesn't relate to that. So I was assuming, yeah, it would go up. So yeah, if that is in relation to his insight 3. Okay. Worded strangely, but yeah. I did assume that 25% would go up, so it goes up to 50. His portrait one is weird because it's like there's two different things going on. It's weird, but I don't think it's horrible, especially because it ups that Eureka recovery chance. But I don't know how useful that Eureka recovery is even going to be until like we get into the survey. So it might not even be that useful because again, it's only like one. It could be useful, I guess. All right, moving on. Portrait 2 or 3 copies of Aleph is a buff for Reflections of Omniscience. This is his ultimate skill. So the number of memorized incantations is increased to 3. It being 3 makes me think if you only have 3 slots for incantations, would that duplicate Reflections of Omniscience? No, because it's basic. Okay, so it would, this I guess this is only helpful in combat where you have 4 card slots. It's not really that helpful if you only are doing like a basic 3 slot deal. So like bosses, probably end game. This is like I guess an end game buff. Yeah. The number of memorized incantations is increased to 3. So you could do 3 heavy hitter attacks, but only with basic cards, and then do the ult, because the ult is not going to duplicate because it does not include, it literally says here, basic incantations. So that's like the disciplinary power is a basic incantation. Each stack of interpretation beyond the first now inflicts mental defense -3 and damage taken reduction -3. Okay, that's kind of helpful. I do think level 2 portrait is good. And I would say if you are like a low spender, my general recommendation for any gacha game is not to go all the way to like maxing out the character during their first patch, because most gacha games are pretty good at rerunning characters, Reverse being one of them. Aleph is going to go to standard a couple patches from now. I want to say, I'm not sure. It's like 2 or 3 patches down the road, this character will go to the standard. So you will be pulling them, like if you lose a 50-50, surprise, you can get Aleph in like a couple months. So there is the ability to get more portraits on him that way. But also with gacha games, you never know who's going to power creep who, what the meta is going to look like in a couple months down the road. So you could max out this character and they're totally irrelevant in like a week, you know? So usually I don't recommend maxing out a character during their initial patch if it's going to be easy to get them in the future. Reverse does some limited banners and we have no idea when they're coming back. Although I believe, was it Yangzi just got like a rerun for the first time? So it is possible, but yeah. I would think if you want to max out Aleph, this patch, I would recommend going to level 2, stopping there, and then when he gets a rerun, seeing if you want to go all the way. I'll say that right now. That usually is my consensus on gacha game character copies. I will say that. But I think going to 2 and stopping could also be a decent like place. Although, interestingly enough, there's only 1 means to an end on here, which we'll get to in a second, because 3 actually looks like it could be pretty decent too, just there's a lot of words happening here. Usually that means it's a good one. But also at the same time with level 2, if you're not doing endgame content and like stuff like that, I don't think you necessarily need this portrait too. Does this make sense? Because it is that you're really getting it for this memory increase. What is level 3 though, before we get really into it? Because maybe I might change my tune after reading Portrait 3. This is going to be 4 copies of Aleph, and this is another buff for Reflections of Omniscience, his ultimate. So the additional mental damage also dealt by Impromptu Incantation's final attack, this is the number 4 card, or 6 if you're running it with this level 2, which yeah, you would need. It would go to 6 now. But this final attack instance is increased to the stacks of interpretation times 160% mental damage to each enemy target, holding the interpretation status. When the channel status ends, the attack instance is granted to impromptu incantation is increased to 4. So I believe it's originally like 2. Doesn't say, because here impromptu incantations gains attack instances plus 1, 2, 3, or 5, but now it's 4. Is that just a set number? Like now you can't get to 5, but it's set at 4, so it's like less of a gamble. I don't know what's going on there. Or do you just get, it's increased to plus 4. So I guess if it was 1, it would go to 5, 2, etc., etc. So it'd be 4. Essentially it'd be 4, even though it says plus 4 here, it'd be 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm assuming, but there's also a plus 1 there. I don't know. Aleph's kit is worded strangely, in the fact that I'm having trouble understanding it, but also it could just be me. Portrait level 4 then, or 5 copies of Aleph, is going to be a buff for Idealist Declaration. Again, that is the buff card. So I thought that I was going to say that it was going to be Disciplinary Power. That is wrong. Idealist Declaration is the buff. So Clarification's Incantation Might is increased to plus 15% from 10%. This is what we like to call here a means to an end. If you're pulling for portraits of this character, don't stop at 4. If you stop at 4, something must have gone horribly wrong. You don't need this. It's not that important. It's like a nothing burger. You don't need it. I'll say it right now. But if you're going to 5, you're going to get it anyways. So portrait level 5 or 6 copies of Aleph. This is maxing out the character. This is another buff for Reflections of Omniscience. Most of his portraits are for his ultimate, which makes enough sense. That's where your burst damage is coming in. So that's probably why most people are pulling for him. It's why I was like, ooh. It's also a fun mechanic. I will say, Reflections of Omniscience is a fun mechanic. The additional mental damage also dealt by Impromptu Incantation's final attack instance, so similar to 3, I believe, is increased to the target's stacks of interpretation times 240%. So it kind of overrides what you get with Incantation 3. That's why it seems like this is kind of like a means to an end if you're going to go all the way to 5, because that specifically, it basically overrides it. But yeah, you get the target stacks of interpretation plus times 240% mental damage to each enemy target holding the interpretation status. Each stack of interpretation beyond the first now inflicts mental defense minus 5% and damage taken reduction minus 5%. I'm assuming that, like I said, overrides most things, but it also overrides part of Portrait 1, or is it Portrait 2? It's Portrait 2, with the interpretation inflicting mental defense minus 3% and damage taken reduction minus 3%, because this does exactly the same, but it goes up from minus 3 to minus 5. So interesting. Level 5 Portrait basically makes half of level 2 and I guess half of level 3 completely redundant. Interesting portrait layout here. I will say that. That's very interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know, because I guess, yeah. I will say none of these really change his kit a ton. He's still a support burst damage character. None of these like turn him into a DPS, which you see a lot in gacha games where it's like, oh, this support character can become a main DPS if you just spend $500. Pay up. Like this isn't that, which I do appreciate. Actually, I do appreciate that they don't turn him into a DPS for like no good reason. Like a support character is allowed to be a support character. They can be made a DPS in a haha funny way, but not. They don't need to be turned in like we don't need extra copies to turn them into a DPS. So I do appreciate that. But I also feel like I have no idea what's going on in half of his kit. So I'm like, do I recommend getting portraits? You don't need 4, that's for sure. The other ones are fine, but I'm also like, 5 makes technically an entire portrait level, because it's half of one and the other half of another, redundant entirely. But I will say, the repeat stuff that's in his portrait 5, the things it makes redundant have like another thing going on. So like with level 2, it makes the second half with the percentages redundant, but you also get the number of memorized incantations increased to 3 from 2, which is a really big buff, I would say, especially because the Reflections of Omniscience is this whole thing. The other part then is the Impromptu Incantation final attack, which you get with 3. But with Portrait level 3, that's the first half of Portrait 3, but the second half is that you get the Impromptu Incantation attack instances, whatever, to +4. Now that's worded weird and there's something going on there that I cannot tell you exactly what's going on there, but there's still another thing going on there. So you're still getting something out of those portraits. This isn't overriding the entire thing. It's overriding half of one and half of the other. So it's like a bit weird. I still think I stand by, if you're a low spender, stopping at, I would stop at 2 if you're endgame, like you're big on endgame, because you want that extra stack. But if you're like a really low spender or free to play, like you might not even need to get any portraits. Like I would honestly just wait it out. If you're like low spender, I would get like 1 copy, no portraits. And if you really like Aleph and want to go from there, maybe go up to 2 if you do endgame. I feel like 3 is like decent, but 3 is like towing a line. Regardless, I think I would either go to 1 or 2 during this patch. And then if you like his kit, because also I'm a little bit late to this, so I would just wait for him to get a rerun or to go standard and to get like max out his portraits, because I don't think you need them. And that tends to be the consensus with Reverse. Even though I feel like there's a little bit of power creep from time to time, I don't think you necessarily need to get portraits of every single character, especially if you're not like super into endgame. So I will stand by that. All right, that was kit stuff. And let us survey. This is his thing, yeah? Okay. I do want to do this, but there's a really good chance I run out of time. I ran out of time for Recoleta, so... Oh god, the music in this is terrifying. Oh my god. All right. His music is terrifying, by the way. I will say that. Star is what's recommended here, so they gave us a full star team, and then Aleph is here as a support, but it's intellect, so... I love the music. Wow, okay. All right, let's give it a shot. I didn't even look at who we have. We have Tooth Fairy and Voyager here as well. Turn off that double speed. Barcarola is here. Is Voyager giving the stack mechanic or not? All right, so how we're gonna do this, I'm gonna go through his stuff specifically first, and then we're gonna run this like an actual thing. So I want to run his buff, his attack. God, his voice is so good. And then I don't really know how these other characters work, so I think I'm just gonna do a counter and a debuff with Voyager. See, okay, he switches. Like, ooh. So the attack, he has like the long hair again, and then the buff is Bandage Man. Okay, that's really cool that his little chibi changes. That's like really cool. All right, that buff stacked. I didn't even have to do anything. All right, we're gonna try to gamify this a little bit. We now have 5 slots. I think that came from somebody. We're gonna try to gamify this a little bit until I get his ult. So we want this buff to stack as much as possible. This attack can just run free. That's gonna do that. So that will buff. We can get that debuff running. Let's end it with an ult for this round. Why not? We're not really doing a ton of damage yet, but we'll make this work. And we have the that's the impromptu incantation. So that is coming from Aleph. Okay, so that's just running. I see why people like Voyager now. I always thought she was pretty, but oh, is Tooth Fairy running the impromptu? I have no idea who's running impromptu because Aleph also has it. I should look at these characters kits. What's going on here? Who is giving me impromptu incantation that's not Aleph? Oh, this is just an impromptu incantation team, isn't it? Because Voyager has impromptu. Tooth Fairy does not, but I want to say Barcarola does. Yeah, okay, so Tooth Fairy's just here. I think she's here. Yeah, she's here as the healer. So Voyager, Barcarola, and Aleph do impromptu incantation. So I'm like, who's running this? Because I feel like everyone is giving me impromptu incantation. Yeah, everybody is. Literally everyone is. That's giving me 3. I'll take that. This will also give me 3. That's give me 2. Run that. That will stack. We don't need that heal yet though, so I'm gonna run that then. And then impromptu incantation. We got 8 stacks on that. Yeah. We're rocking it. I was like, who's running impromptu incantation? Everyone but Tooth Fairy, actually. I'm so excited to see his ult, though. I want to see it in action. The fact that he, like, switches between, like, the personas in battle, though, wild. That's so cool. And his ult is up, so we really have to think this through. So we only have 2 repeats here. So we're gonna need to be smart about this. Do I have any attacks that have stacked? Not really. So I'm thinking we'll run you and you, because you have 5 on you for impromptu incantation. And then I'm debating if I want to do the ult, and then I guess we would do the ult here. He's gonna be in hyperthymesia. So actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to run these 2, because these 2 have to go first. We'll do that attack, because then he's not gonna be able to do anything for a little bit, so we'll run it like that. And, you know, we'll finish it off with Voyager counter, because that's not gonna repeat anyways, so we'll just run it like that. Don't do double speed on me. So do a little bit of damage. Those will repeat. Voyager does damage, and then we have the ult. Oh no, we have his attack first. We have disciplinary power. Now it's time for the ult. What do we got? Oh, he's gonna do the channel first, it looks like. Interesting. So when do we get his animation? Interesting. Do I not get to see his ult? Oh no, there's a wave 2. Okay, I was gonna be so mad. Looks like, okay, it cut. All right. So he's gonna channel, and then at the end of the channel is when he duplicates that. So it's not immediate. Okay, noted. So we still have 5 slots here. I'm going to run these 2 because we have high stacks on them. We don't need any heals, so I'll do this counter, and then we'll finish it with some ults. Why not? I'll just target Aleph for that, and we can. Oh, there it is. All right, it's immediately in the next round. Why is this like really cool, actually? Oh, that's insane. That is insane. Okay, it repeats. It throws them at the end. Oh my, that's wild. That is actually wild. And the impromptu incantation's like 20. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is this so cool? I feel like I need to double speed it just because it's taking so long. And this team, I feel like I have like a better handle on, because in previous like surveys, it's been like, oh, I don't have any of these characters. That's awesome. I have Barcarola. I have at least one of them. I feel like we can make this work. We can make this work, people. So then they do the same thing over again, and that impromptu incantation is gonna go insane. Because I feel like we haven't done a bunch of hits on this big guy yet, but we're getting there. Oh, so it repeated 3 of those. It repeated 3 stat. Oh, man down. Was that impromptu incantation, or was that Aleph? It just finished everything. Thanks, Aleph. Wow. He talks a lot. Perfect ending, great. Yeah, cool. See, that impromptu incantation did so much. 93%. That was where all of our damage was coming from. My god. Wild. Absolutely wild. I need him. I feel like I don't have a ton of pulls, but we'll make do. All right, fingers crossed this doesn't throw me into anything, because if it does, I might X out of the game immediately. Oh, thank god. Sometimes it starts by itself, and I hate when it does that. I just want this. Thank you. I just want my 40 clear drops. Grab this. Thank you. I'm grabbing everything that I can grab before we get into this. I need everything I can get. Okay, we're back. Summon time. I don't even think I have a whole 10 pull. Who else is running right now? Tooth Fairy rerun is up for 5 more days, so that should still be up right now. Ripples in the Water is still active for 9 hours, so that's over. Do I have any free pulls on here? No, just discount pulls. We will not be doing that unless I get Aleph early. But what am I at? 49, I think is what the consensus was. Yeah, 49. So yeah, I say let's make it a clean 50 first of all. It's purple. It's Poltergeist. All right, now it's at 50. Can I do a temple? I can. So let's bring it up to 60. All right, all right. Okay, is it the right gold? It's probably not. So it's gonna. No. That's the right gold. Oh, I'm scared. I can't make words. Okay, just rip the band-aid off. Intellect, please. No. I'm not even mad, y'all. I'm not even mad. Hello, Kakania. I'm literally not mad. I mean, I have way too many plant characters now. Because that was the thing. I had like no plant characters, so I was like, I gotta pull for all the plant characters. If they're pretty and they're a plant character, I gotta pull for them. And now I have too many plant characters. So wow. Oh, Ulu too. Okay, I'll take that. We take those. I'm not mad. That's the thing. I'm not mad about it. So we are guaranteed, first of all, but we are set back to 0. So we're gonna do a handful of pulls because I don't have a full 10 pull. Because I mean, I've gotten lucky in the past, but that's the thing. I'm not mad about pulling Kakania. Like, I'm literally not. Like, I saw plant pop up and I was like racking my brain of like, who do I want? Hi, Pavia. But where are we at? 3 now? Oh my God. Okay, it's normal. It's a 5-star. Who's it gonna be? Who's on this banner? Intellect. It's not. Oh, it's X. This is not your banner, X. Where did you come from? Dude. Where did you come from? This is not your banner. Okay. He's like, I heard you wanted an intellect character. This is not your banner, X. Where did you come from? All right. Again, I've lost track of my polls at this point. I've gotten the twins twice today. I could do another poll if I take from my crystal drops, but I don't want to do that because I know, listen, I saw an outfit from the Chinese server update that I really want, and so we're gonna wait for it. I'm not saying which one because I'm not gonna spoil it, but I am waiting for an outfit in this game, so I'm gonna save my crystal drops so I can spend the least amount of money possible to get it. Thank you, because I'm gonna need to do that because it's. I'm not gonna say. Anyways, what a time that was. X, what do you want from me? You want a portrait? Fine, take it. Ulu, sweet Ulu. You can have your portrait as well. I'm not gonna yell at you, Ulu. Oh, what does Pavia want? Did I max him out on? Yeah, I think I just maxed his friendship. Also, we can do another poll. That's why I'm going through my characters right now, because I'm like, if we level somebody up. Also, why is my conjurer at level 12? Kakania, I am pinning you. Oh, I love her. How fun. I mean, she is a support and burst damage. Technically, it's like the same kit as Aleph. I'm coping, I am, but like technically. There's so many portraits I just did not unlock. Give me a sec. So many characters I need to level up as well. God. I'm gonna start pinning some of these characters so that I remember them. Yeah, it's really just Outghost. Okay, well, what a time. I got a little bit more clear drops here that we can work with. So we can do like one more at least. So let's, what is this? This is like 4 or 5. All right, nope. Darling Clatter. Sorry about that, buddy. I'm gonna skip you. All right, well, what a time this has been. All right, let's go end on the Aleph art. He didn't come home, but I did get a support burst damage dealer and an intellect character today. Not the right ones, but it did happen. Wow. I do think it was a bit early that Kakania came home. So like now I'm guaranteed, which might actually be good going into the next patch. The next couple of patches, because I've heard nothing but good things coming up. All right, that's it for this video. So wild and chaotic, and very late, but that was Aleph. I'll probably still keep pulling off camera. We'll see. I think it depends on, because at the time of recording this, the trailer stuff for 2.7 has not dropped yet, so I don't know who's coming. And if there's a character I like more, I might just stop pulling because I'm guaranteed, and I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I don't have any pulls. Anyways, that's fine. Anyways, that's it. Oh, before we end though, because I forgot to mention at the beginning because I haven't recorded a reverse video in a while, you know the drill here. Well, this video is not particularly sponsored. I am a partner creator with Reverse 1999 and will be receiving compensation for this video. I forgot to say it at the start. It's fine. It's in the description always, anyways. Yeah, I hope if you like this video, make sure to give me a like, comment, subscribe down below. See if I do anything that messes up the outro, I cannot do the rest of the outro. I hope you guys know this. Thank you. Let me know in the comments down below how your Aleph polls went. Who'd you lose the 50-50 to? If you did, I hope you didn't though. I hope all Aleph wanters are Aleph havers. I hope you did not lose your 50-50s, but if you did, let me know who you lost it to down below. We can commiserate together, but also, honestly, I'm not even commiserating about it. I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with this, actually. It's like when I got Vila all over again. But as always, I hope everyone had or is having a super lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys!